The story begins with our hero holding someone, telling him that he is the last one now. He then smiled confidently and using his magic restrained a man by his neck. The man accused him of hiding exceptional skills that a May fixer could not possess. The hero began to question him about the grimoire, a powerful magic book, pointing out that the Deculin family would not mobilize all these forces just to chase a single stray dog, describing the family members as scum who multiply and spread like rabid dogs. The man admitted he didn't know how to use the grimoire, but the hero deduced from their relentless pursuit of him over this distance that the book must possess great value. The man demanded he hand over the grimoire immediately. In return, he offered to intercede for him to return to his work as a fixer, even using the demeaning term hunting dog. The hero scoffed at this offer, sarcastically, wondering what authority a mere manager of fixers could have to make such promises. He then lifted him with his magic, asking if he had any last words before he died. Suddenly, a third person appeared on the scene, a man exuding a powerful aura of evil energy who calmly greeted them. This newcomer revealed his identity, announcing he was Baharan van Deculin, the head of the ruling magical family of the eastern continent, the Decalan. The fixer manager was stunned. This was the first time he had seen the family head face to face. Despite having spent decades serving them as a fixer, Baharan was a legendary figure known as the most powerful sorcerer in the family's history. The hero wondered to himself what kind of man this person might be. Baharan addressed the hero, telling him to hand over the grimoire, promising they would talk afterward. However, the hero met him with a rude and shocking response, telling him that he was pissing him off and accused him of trying to steal his hard-won spoils. Baharan met this insolence with a sarcastic laugh. At that moment, the hero regretted not devouring the wyvern he had seen earlier when he had the chance, as he now realized that the aura emanating from the family head was overwhelming and stronger than anything he had ever faced before. Baharan explained to the hero that the easiest option was to kill him and retrieve the grimoire by force, but he offered him an alternative. He asked him to hand over the book and return to the service of Deculin, and in return, all his crimes would be forgiven. Baharan praised the hero's combat talent, admitting he regretted not realizing this talent sooner. He was impressed that a filthy rat from the slum could master the trivial skills of fixers and bring them to such an advanced level. He then tried to tempt him with a vision of a bright future, wondering how high a sharp blade like him could soar if carried by the wings of Deculin, and what greatness he could add to the family name. He concluded his offer by inviting him to stand by his side and make history together. The hero agreed to Baharan's offer, but he set one condition. With a cunning smile, the hero demanded that Baharan give him his seat as the head of the family, and only then could they negotiate. He then turned to Baharan, reminding him that he had been watching his battles and mockingly asked how many people had died because of the magic move he was still applying to the exhausted fixer manager. This challenge angered Baharan, who warned the hero that this was the way he chose to play and that this choice could lead to his death. The hero acknowledged that this was absolutely true, but he responded with an even greater challenge, inviting Baharan to measure the gap in power between them himself. Baharan accepted the challenge, declaring that he would discipline him first. Baharan began to launch an attack that the hero dodged with great difficulty, and before he could catch his breath, he was surprised by another magic circle that appeared suddenly before him. Realizing that this was the true power of the head of the Deculin family, a power that left no exploitable opening, Baharan reminded the hero of his previous challenge, asserting that some things do not need to be tested, like the vast chasm in power that separated them. He then began to launch another attack that caused a massive explosion. From amidst the smoke, Baharan asked the hero if he had changed his mind about negotiating, telling him he would let him live, but just barely. The hero responded by asking if Baharan would accept him if he bowed his head now and returned to the shadow of Deculin. But he quickly answered his own question with a defiant shout, "No way." The hero rose forcefully, blood covering his face, declaring he was tired of eating dog food. He unleashed an attack of blue lightning, shouting angrily and questioning who would be content to become a dog again, as a fancy collar and a big house don't change the fact of the matter. Baharan called him a fool and prepared to unleash an overwhelming power. The hero was stunned by the sight before him as a massive storm of purple lightning filled the sky. In that moment, he realized something. He finally understood why on that day he had looked up at the sky and seen that wyvern soaring with absolute freedom. The reason for his gaze was his suffering and his deep desire to attain that freedom. Despite the overwhelming attack, the hero managed to stand firm. Baharan looked at him with admiration, admitting he thought the attack would kill him, and then asked if he now felt the difference in their power. Still standing, the hero acknowledged Baharan's disgusting power. Baharan asked if he was ready to talk properly now, and asked him to finish the story he couldn't finish before. The hero wondered if Baharan wanted him to go back to being a fixer again, but Baharan corrected him, explaining that he did not mean the position of a fixer. Baharan revealed his true and surprising offer for the hero to become the head of one of the families affiliated with the Deculan family. The hero was shocked by this offer. He thought about how the Deculan family, whose authority rivaled that of the imperial power, was offering him the headship of one of its loyal families. The hero looked at the grimoire in his possession and asked Baharan if this book was his goal from the beginning. Baharan replied that the hero was still underestimating himself, insisting that his desire was for the hero himself and that the grimoire came second. Baharan saw that the hero was starting to consider the offer, and he promised that accepting it would erase all his past sins and only glory with the Deculan family would await him. But unexpectedly, the hero began to pour his energy into the grimoire with the intention of destroying it. Baharan asked him in shock what he was doing, to which the hero replied sarcastically that he could have it after it turned to ash. Baharan threatened the hero that he would never die peacefully, but the hero silenced him and told him to listen. The hero explained that fixers don't care about money, but he took this grimoire because it was priceless. He then revealed the dark secret behind it, wondering if Baharan knew about the fixers who were devoured by the young Julian master using forbidden magic from this book. That scoundrel had devoured the hero's comrades, and the Deculan family covered up the crime. Baharan asked contemptuously if this was all for revenge, noting that the lives of stray dogs are cheap. The hero replied that his motive was not just revenge. He wanted to fulfill his comrades' dreams, and that required money. He also wanted to ensure he wouldn't go back to living in a doghouse after retirement. After hearing everything, Baharan declared that he had heard the hero's last words. He unleashed his final attack, the azure flame of Deculan, an eternal fire that never goes out, and told the hero to regret his choice in the depths of this hell. As the flames consumed him, the hero rejected the idea of regret, shouting that death was better than being Deculan's dog again, and he felt a freedom he hadn't felt in a long time. His last thoughts were that he regretted nothing, and that if he were to be reborn, he would seize his freedom and achieve his true revenge. He was then surprised by what happened. Everything froze as if time had stopped. The grimoire appeared and glowed brightly. Then something strange happened. The hero found himself in another place, wondering how he had survived after being on the verge of burning to death. He felt that something was not right, and the place looked familiar, as if he had returned to the past. Then he remembered he was in the black and white zone, the place where he had struggled to survive daily before becoming a fixer. He realized the incredible truth. He had gone back in time. He wondered what in the world was going on. As he found himself in his younger body, he was sure he had returned to the past, but he noticed that a certain mark was still on his body. Although he didn't understand how he deduced that the grimoire had done something to cause this return, he remembered that the head of the Deculan family coming himself to take the book proved how important it was. The hero decided that this return to the past was a good thing. In any case, he made sure it wasn't a dream. The event seemed too real, and the foul smell of sewage in the place confirmed to him that he was alive. He felt optimistic that this was an opportunity to achieve great success regardless of what he would do. But he wondered what achieving great success meant. He remembered that he once had a dream his comrades also shared, and it was the same reason that pushed him to decide to retire. He began to recall a conversation he had with one of his comrades named Asta. In that memory, Asta told him that they were just homeless people in the black and white zone, lacking clothes, food, and education, and asked him which of these was the worst for him. The hero answered that the lack of food was the worst, but Asta corrected him. After a look of annoyance at the stupidity of the answer appeared on his face, he explained that not receiving an education was the most painful thing. If they had been properly trained and educated, they would not have fallen into the hands of the nobles who enslaved them. Asta revealed his dream after retirement, which was to build a library, a place where anyone, regardless of their wealth, status, or gender, could read books freely. As for the hero, his dream was to go even further. He wanted to build a towering spire for no particular reason other than that he loved high things. He planned to fill this tower with every book he could find. Most importantly, he would place the secret manual of the Deculan family at the entrance of the first floor so that everyone could get it, whether they were vagrants from the black and white zone, sons of nobles, or even the butchers in the market. Just imagining seeing those techniques, which the Deculan family considered more precious than their lives, being available to everyone made him feel ecstatic. He admitted that the problem was how to obtain those techniques, but he decided to leave that for his future self to worry about. His ultimate goal was to spread the secrets of Deculan as widely as possible, which would lead to their complete collapse. Suddenly, his dreams were interrupted by a powerful kick to his face. An angry young man appeared and yelled at him for not staying where he was told, then began to kick him repeatedly. At first, the hero was shocked by this sudden attack, but he quickly gathered his experience as a fixer who had fought countless battles.